So Rick Ross' first week is now coming under scrutiny. Allegedly, Rick Ross Set in Stone, his album, is set to debut at number 45 on the Billboard 200 album charts with 17.2K first week, which means 17,200. I gotta be honest with you. I think this is about par for the course for Rick Ross. And I know y'all might be like, oh my God, no.
You know what I'm saying? You saw that here. Like, happened in Canada, Rick Ross got fucked.
For the past few weeks, Rick Ross has been making plenty of headlines, tossing out comments, staying in the spotlight, and keeping people talking. But now, it looks like all that attention is starting to swing right back at him, and the conversation is getting even louder.
I got a DM say, Rose, how you feel about what 50 said? What the And I said, what did 50 say? Excuse me, before you mention what 50 said, let me ask how's it going over there in Shreveport.
All right, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, we all have. Let's talk about him. He's saying he is pushing back from Shreveport. What does that mean? He's invested with all of this property that he's bought. Does that mean that he doesn't want to work with the city of Shreveport and these ventures anymore? What does that mean?
You borrowed all them people money. Did you return their money back? And because Shreveport ain't give you the loans you was looking for. Because they smart. LA don't need a fucking film studio. Hollywood don't need it. Why would you need a film studio? You stealing the people money. Get them people back their money, Curtis. Now!
And of course, the first person ready to jump into the middle of it is none other than 50 Cent. These two have been going at each other for almost 20 years, and everyone knows 50 never misses a chance to react when he spots an opening.
At the end of the day, you need a hit song that's current to kind of sell music. Not that shocked by 17.2. Now, I'm also not going to protect Ross because of how he talks, and he's been talking about Drake, saying Drake ain't shit. I think fans are right to say, well, Ross, you flopped. Bro, what are you talking about?
He's built a reputation for turning almost any situation into a public back and forth, and whether people support him or not, fans know he's usually quick with a response. Now, this latest moment is adding another wild chapter to one of hip-hop's longest-running rivalries. At the same time, people online aren't only focused on the personal drama. A lot of the discussion has shifted toward the numbers behind Rick Ross's newest album. Based on reports shared across social media, Set in Stone is currently projected to move fewer than 26,000 units in its first week, and could land outside the Billboard 200's top 20. If those projections hold up, that's definitely catching people's attention. If those estimates end up being accurate, plenty of fans are asking what changed.
These old had to put albums out because if it flopped, that's all they ever had to lay on. Rose ain't got that issue, baby. I could just lean back like that.
Especially since Rick Ross has spent years being viewed as one of rap's biggest names. That's exactly why the debate keeps getting bigger every day. Before anyone says, did you even listen to the album? Yes, I did. Music is always personal, and everyone hears things differently. But when you look at the streaming numbers, only 2 songs have crossed the 1 million stream mark so far. The track with T.I. has reached around 1.8 million streams, while the collaboration with French Montana and Max B sits at roughly 4.4 million. To me, those songs didn't really stand out, but that's just one opinion, and other listeners could easily feel the complete opposite. When you go through the full track list, one thing stands out almost immediately. The album is loaded with guest features. Rick Ross brought in artists like Rich the Kid, YFN Lucci, Don Toliver, Big Set the Plug, The Dream, Big Tony, Nino Breeze, Gucci Mane, Kodak Black, and Young Miami. That's a stacked lineup, and it shows he wasn't holding back when putting this project together. Usually, when an album has a long list of featured artists,
Flake Flaws. Ricky Rose album, boy. They better, hey, and when y'all review Ricky Rose album, hey man.
it creates excitement and gets people talking right away. Big collaborations are supposed to build momentum and bring in different fan bases, but this time, a lot of people online are questioning whether all those features were enough to help the project reach a bigger audience. That's become one of the hottest debates as fans compare the early sales projections with the high expectations that came before the release. One thing that stands out immediately is the mix of artists Rick Ross brought together. The album blends newer names with well-known rap veterans, and on paper, you'd expect those younger artists to bring fresh energy and create the biggest buzz. But according to many listeners online, that spark hasn't fully shown up the way they expected. Out of the entire track list, my favorite is probably the song featuring YFN Lucci, but to me, it feels more like YFN Lucci's record than Rick Ross's. For a big part of the track, Lucci carries the energy and keeps everything moving, while Rick Ross doesn't leave the same impact. Of course, that's just my opinion, and other listeners may hear it completely differently. Then, you look at the streaming numbers, and they become another big part of the conversation. Millions of streams are still a major achievement.
And watching these sales, people are, kind of like processing, like, is this guy even who he says he is?
All our prices is set in stone.
But many fans expected even stronger numbers from an artist with Rick Ross's track record. Over the years, he's spoken confidently about where he believes he stands in hip-hop, and he's even compared himself to Drake at different points. Because of those past comments, people online are now placing those statements next to the album's current performance and asking whether the results match the expectations. That's where the debate really picks up. When an artist compares themselves to one of the biggest names in music, fans naturally expect the numbers to reflect that level of success. Across social media, plenty of people have been joking that Rick Ross's confidence is on another level, while others argue that his self-belief has always been part of what makes him who he is. At the same time, Rick Ross has often pointed to his strong connection with the streets and his loyal fan base as proof that his music speaks for itself. Still, some critics believe the early projections and streaming totals don't fully support those claims.
A couple days before, 50 Cent was hearing that he was going to do less than 2,000, which clearly isn't the case. But 50 was having fun with it regardless. He's like, I saw your record sales, LOL. 2,000? What the fuck?
For this particular release. Others, however, say it's still too early to judge the album's long-term impact, so the conversation remains wide open. One thing that's hard to argue with is that Rick Ross has never been afraid of controversy. Keeping rivals in the spotlight and embracing competition has always been part of his public image. While promoting the album, he didn't just send more comments toward Drake, he also took aim at 50 Cent, adding even more heat to one of rap's longest-running rivalries, and giving fans another reason to keep watching. One of the first topics Rick Ross brought up during an interview wasn't even about the music, it was about 50 Cent's personal life.
What's one thing you hate that motherfuckers be talking about you, like on the internet, that you hate that?
I'm gonna be honest, I ain't tripping. Yeah, cause if it's some good funny shit, I could enjoy it too.
Now, are you putting the Drake beef to rest?
Honestly, I discuss a lot of things. Set in stone is all about etching a little bit at a time.
I don't understand. You're squashing the beef.
We'll have
So
to
I don't know
see.
if that means barking
Ricky
it up.
Rose is
During the conversation, he was asked, "So what do you think about his baby mama?" The conversation then shifted to Daphne Joy, who shares a child with 50 Cent. Around that time, her name was already trending across social media because of reports and widely discussed allegations connected to Diddy and another individual. The situation sparked a huge wave of online reactions, with people everywhere sharing opinions and debating the claims. As with many viral stories, not everything circulating online was confirmed, but the attention around her name was impossible to ignore. Whether those rumors were true or not, the headlines spread fast, and her name quickly became part of celebrity gossip discussions across the internet. Because of that, when Rick...
Morning glory, baby. Listening to the #1 record on iTunes. For the streamers, keep streaming, downloading. Everybody that's getting their physical vinyls, physical CDs, their exclusive merch. Good looking, baby. Album of the year. Listen to the vibes, the production, the wordplay. It's a motherfucking boat, you heard me?
Ross mentioned her during the interview. Many fans saw it as a direct jab aimed at one of his longest-running rivals. Considering how long Rick Ross and 50 Cent have been trading shots, plenty of people expected that 50 wouldn't stay quiet for long. Sure enough, once Rick Ross's new album was released, 50 Cent jumped onto Instagram and wasted no time responding. He poked fun at the reported sales by writing, "I just saw your record sales, LOL 2000 WTF." Then he kept the jokes rolling, adding, So when your tickets don't sell and your album don't sell, what do? Promote car shows and sell chicken wings? He followed that up with another comment, saying, "You had 20 features and it didn't help. Alright, now I'ma pack it up. It's over, officer. Get your bum juice and your wings and get the F out of here. LOL."
When it come to making moves, I'm telling y'all this because I'm getting ready. I'm doing some, album shit, right? But for the ones that want to know, this album number 12, Rose, how are you always so confident when it come to your business, because it go the way I wanted to go? My album come out, I'm already paid before the album come out. It's Rose. I don't know when them niggas sit on them podcasts doing all them little deals, I don't know what little niggas y'all talking to. The industry has changed, and guess what? As a boss, you put the number up there. This is what we gonna do, just to do business with me. I've sold records, nigga, for the last 20 years. You know what I do, not just for myself, but the entire brand. Rose paid. I pray y'all niggas get paid before the album come out, nigga, because when you put the album together, that's the work.
As usual, 50 Cent leaned into the trolling style he's become known for, turning the exchange into another viral moment that spread quickly across social media. Within hours, fans were reposting the screenshots, reacting to the jokes, and adding even more attention to the ongoing feud. At the same time, many people pointed out that personal topics have been part of this rivalry for years. Earlier in their feud, 50 Cent also made headlines by bringing people connected to Rick Ross's personal life into the conversation. Because of that history, many observers see this as just another chapter in a back and forth where both sides have repeatedly taken the rivalry beyond the music.
Rick Ross is trying to jump ahead of a flop. I've never seen this before. There's lack of promotion, no proper single rollout. It's kind of a mess. Usually, you got Drake. There's no Drake on this album.
And into more personal territory. Over the years, this feud has produced countless unforgettable moments. Viral videos, screenshots, interviews, and online jokes have kept the rivalry alive, with nearly every new exchange becoming another major talking point. Looking at everything that's happened recently, many fans believe Rick Ross has been working hard to stay in the spotlight, but not every moment has unfolded the way he may have expected. One incident that people still talk about happened during his trip to Canada around the time of a Drake-related event. Rick Ross seemed confident going into the event.
Yo, that line happened to come true crazy. He said I was Aiden Ross's streams before Aiden Ross had ever streamed. Well, yo, Ross's streams looked a little crazy this week, huh? Yeah, Ross's streams did look a little crazy. Still. Yeah, Ross came out and like the numbers on streaming were mad low. Now I kind of like, that line kind of hits different.
But reports and videos shared by people in attendance showed a tense confrontation unfolding. The clips spread across social media almost instantly, with many claiming he was approached by a group before leaving the area. While the exact details have been debated and different accounts continue to circulate, the footage alone was enough to spark days of discussion online. Critics quickly turned the moment into another reason to joke about him, while supporters argued that the clips didn't tell the full story. Naturally, 50 Cent wasn't about to let a moment like that pass without saying something. Fans expected him to jump into the conversation, and that's exactly what made the
Set in stone, baby. Just the title just represent, just etching every move I made over the last 20 years. Here we are, 20 summers later. We the big dogs, you know what I'm saying? And we still hustling, we still enjoy the music. Something that we love to do. I love to do it. I love to make music. You know what I mean? When the shit hot, it's hot.
situation even bigger. Every time something happens involving Rick Ross, people immediately wonder if 50 Cent will respond, and more often than not, he does, keeping their long-running rivalry alive in the public eye. At the same time, Rick Ross's public fallout with Drake has continued to generate headlines. Rick Ross has repeatedly criticized Drake, often referring to him as BBL Drizzy, and taking shots at his music, making sure the rivalry stays part of the conversation whenever it's brought up. Then Drake appeared to respond on Iceman with the lyric, "If I'm lying, I'm flying economy. I bet I know who I see." Almost immediately, people across the internet began connecting those lyrics to Rick Ross. Not long after, photos and videos circulated online that many users claimed showed Ross flying on a commercial airline, and social media quickly filled with jokes, memes, and non-stop reactions. Rick Ross later addressed the situation, explaining that his private jet wasn't available because it was reportedly having Starlink installed. Even with that explanation, the online discussion didn't slow down. Some people accepted his response, while others continued making jokes and debating the situation. Regardless of where people stood, the story became another headline in an already eventful stretch of rap drama, and the timing brought even more attention to the ongoing rivalries. Drake's lyrics soon became one of those moments fans couldn't stop talking about. Clips, screenshots, and memes kept spreading for days, with many people saying the timing made the line feel even more memorable. Rick Ross later repeated that his private jet was reportedly being upgraded, which, according to him, was the reason he was traveling on a commercial flight. Even after that explanation, the internet kept the conversation going. Even after Rick Ross gave his explanation, the jokes didn't slow down. The internet continued turning the situation into another viral moment, with fans creating memes, sharing reactions, and keeping the conversation alive. Then, just when it seemed like there was already enough drama surrounding him, another wave of discussion started after a well-known luxury watch commentator questioned the authenticity of some jewelry Rick Ross had displayed online. The claims quickly spread across social media, with the commentator suggesting that certain rare pieces didn't appear to match the details of known originals. Rick Ross pushed back against the criticism, while many fans treated the entire situation as another piece of celebrity entertainment. Some debated the claims seriously, while others simply watched the latest controversy unfold. Moving past those discussions, Rick Ross eventually sat down with the Joe Budden podcast and spoke more openly about his issues with Drake. Before that interview, most of the tension had played out through Instagram posts, online comments, and public jokes. Because of that, many fans were still wondering what really caused the relationship between the two artists to change. The timing made the conversation even more interesting because it happened during the period when Kendrick Lamar's battle with Drake was dominating hip-hop headlines. As more artists began sharing their opinions, Rick Ross also joined the conversation, which surprised many listeners. That reaction stood out because Ross and Drake had created several successful collaborations together over the years, making them one of rap's most recognizable partnerships. Seeing that connection become complicated caught a lot of fans off guard. People started debating whether the fallout came from personal issues, business decisions, or simply the natural changes that happen in the music industry. Whatever the reason, the situation became another major topic that kept both artists in the spotlight. That's why Joe Budden brought up the same question many fans had been asking for months. What really caused the problems between Rick Ross and Drake? Rick Ross's response grabbed attention because he said he wanted Drake to succeed and wished him the best, but at the same time, he has continued bringing up Drake's name in interviews, social media posts, and public discussions. That contrast is exactly why some fans believe the situation doesn't fully match his words. Every time Drake's name enters the conversation, the story grows bigger, clips spread faster, and social media jumps right back into the debate. Whether that attention is planned or simply a result of the rivalry is something only Rick Ross truly knows. But one thing is clear, whenever Drake is involved, people pay attention. Drake remains one of the biggest artists in the world, so any headline connected to him is almost guaranteed to create reactions.
Project on a new album.
The perspective Rose giving you. You gotta realize I came in 20 years ago, every day I'm hustling from the mud to the marble. So now the perspective from the penthouse down to the streets, and we're gonna give you that perspective.
But some people would say you came in the game talking that shit.
I did. It was always about getting to the money. You know, I don't know if this shit went over niggas' heads. We talking about every day we hustling. Every day we going to get it. The White House. These are records on the first album. We speaking real estate. Buy back the block. That's what it always was. It may be just because it came to fruition in front of niggas' eyes. Some of it is unbelievable, but it's here.
So when you say a different perspective on this album, is there a difference in how it's executed today versus how you came in?
No, just the difference in the mindset. Nigga got a $500 million mindset now. This ain't the nigga trying to get his first 10. Cause when you get 1, you know you can make it to 10. You get 10, you can make it to 100. Don't let nobody fool you. You get 100, you could get a B.
That's also why many fans believe this ongoing back and forth has helped keep Rick Ross at the center of discussions while his latest album continues being analyzed. Still, it's important to remember that much of this is based on public comments and speculation, while only the people involved know the full story behind the scenes. Another reason this situation feels so surprising is because Rick Ross and Drake built some of their biggest moments in music together. Their collaborations became fan favorites, making the change from partners to rivals even more noticeable. Songs like Aston Martin Music are still considered classics by many fans, and a lot of listeners believe those collaborations remain some of Rick Ross's most memorable work. That's exactly why seeing the relationship change surprised so many people. When it comes to the long-running battle with 50 Cent, most fans understand the history because that rivalry has been playing out in public for years, with both sides constantly trading shots. But the situation with Drake feels different. There are still plenty of unanswered questions, and fans are left wondering what really caused the tension between two artists who once created major hits together. Maybe there's a bigger story that hasn't been revealed yet, or maybe the reality is much simpler than the internet makes it seem. Until the people involved explain everything, the debate will likely continue. Now, I want to hear from you. Who do you think handled these rivalries better? Rick Ross, 50 Cent, or Drake? Do you think this is real tension, or did social media turn it into something much bigger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown of hip-hop's biggest stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.